with the moments that these species' extinction or endangerment began to generate significant print archives. These archives include transcriptions of traditional indigenous oral narratives, historical narratives, scientific narratives, and literary narratives by Indigenous American and Euro-American authors. If the sixth extinction is a hyperobject, an event so massively distributed in space and time that it cannot be experienced directly, these cases of particular megafauna have consistently commanded our focus and attention. They form a starting point for a coherent, approachable history. Before Enlightenment, naturalists identified the fossil bones of mammoths as differing from those of living elephants and established extinction as a geohistorical fact. Those bones were often said to be the remains of extinct races of beastly giants, destroyed either by a deity or by a group of civilized humans. Thus, the book begins with a prehistory of the extinction concept, as manifest in early Spanish colonial historians' transcriptions of Nahua and Inca narratives, and taken up in cross-cultural dialogues in 18th-century New York and New England. The mammoth became a national icon in the early U.S. Republic because it connoted power and indigeneity, even as it was often characterized as a tyrant deserving of extinction. The mammoth did not maintain this iconic status, as the fact of its extinction became firmly established, probably because its fate augured ill for the young republic's future. Later, the mammoth's fate was taken up as an object lesson for European settler colonists. Whales and buffalo were threatened by extractive industries during the 19th century and became objects of both instrumentalist concern and preservationist activism. For millennia prior to this modern trajectory, they had been subjects of human social engagement, and still are, especially in tribal traditions. Throughout these cases, various accounts of the distribution of agency and responsibility give rise to different accounts of the human role with respect to non-humans. Analyzing these cases, I hope to inspire further reflection on this question of the human place and the related question of belonging. Megafauna provide a focus because, as my opening example suggests, they have been perennial sources of fascination. Easy to anthropomorphize, they are limit cases for the human/animal distinction, and thus can provide particular insight into the problem of exceptionalism. Animals can seem especially human-like if they engage in ostensibly moral behavior, as, for example, the white whale does in Herman Melville's Moby Dick, or the mammoth does in Joseph Nicolar's Life and Traditions of the Red Man. Accounts of animals' moral behavior and humans' moral judgments regarding that behavior, important components of many of the interactions examined in this study, are more frequent in stories of megafauna than in stories of, say, insects or plants. The focus on megafauna is not meant to discount whole ecologies, however, but rather to suggest larger networks of relations. In many instances, megafauna are key environmental shapers. Pleistocene epoch megafaunal herbivores, such as the mammoth, for example, were constant gardeners, keeping forests in check and thereby producing a diversity of ecosystems including savanna and various kinds of woodland, depending on rainfall, temperature, soil, and other factors. After their larger Pleistocene kin became extinct, the buffalo, bison, cultivated the prairie ecosystem in the North American West. On the other hand, the vast forests of pre-colonial eastern North America, in which the passenger pigeon flourished, may well have been an effect of the late Pleistocene extinctions. The project focuses on the Americas, primarily North America and its oceanic environs, because the Americas were the site of two distinct waves of human migration, during the late Pleistocene epoch and the modern time of European settler colonization, both associated with anthropogenic extinctions. Of course, there is no doubt about the second wave's acceleration of extinctions and endangerments caused by market-driven hunting, the intensification of agriculture, and other kinds of habitat destruction. While this second wave has become part of the global sixth extinction with the carbon economy's alteration of the Earth's geophysical processes, the present study focuses on cases whose histories began prior to the development of the carbon economy.